I have a proposition for you. It's about your future, and the baby's too.
About our futures? Did we ever really stand a chance?
The third season of Squid Game turned out to be the most brutal one yet. We, the viewers, often behave irrationally. When a story ends with a classic happy ending, we tend to frown in disappointment, finding it too bland and predictable. But when we're shown an unconventional finale that breaks the usual Hollywood cliches, we're disappointed all over again.
The game has ended.
Even if deep down we suspected how it would end, we still kept rooting for the characters until the very last moment. And when, in the end, they all end up dead, we're left with an unpleasant, heavy feeling of hopelessness and a lingering sense of depression. That's exactly what happened in the third season of Squid Game. On the one hand, our protagonist made the right choice and remained human.
We are humans.
He proved that even in such dire circumstances, it's possible to sacrifice yourself for another living being. On the other hand, everyone we cared about died, while evil was left virtually unpunished. But the more I think about the third season, with all its contradictions and seemingly illogical moments, the more convinced I became that we simply didn't crack the creator's true message. The ending isn't as straightforward as it seems. It's actually much smarter and fully justified. It may not be comforting to us, but it does make perfect sense. In this video, I want to break down the main issues with the third season. What deserves praise and respect, and what leaves us puzzled and questioning? What's the biggest, not so reassuring takeaway after watching it? How can we interpret the ending? And, in the end, who really won the third season of Squid Game? Despite all the flaws and questionable moments in the third season of Squid Game, which we'll get to in a moment, I still believe the ending of this story is genuinely brilliant. By episode 4, we'd actually been given a clear hint about who would emerge as the winner. They practically showed us the future victor in a close-up, and yet we didn't even notice. But first, let's talk about the obvious strengths of the third season. The first thing worth mentioning is the main character Gi-hoon's storyline. It wraps up his arc in a logical way and beautifully ties back to one of the show's core ideas. Think back to where he started. In the very first episode, we see Gi-hoon at the racetrack. He steals money from his mother to bet on horses.
Please select the amount you would like to.
But soon enough, he becomes the horse himself. The VIPs are now betting on him. The mastermind, Il-nam, tries to prove that people are to blame for their own misery.
No one had to play, and you all put your signatures on the agreement.
And aren't worth pitying.
Can you still trust anybody to be good?
In the second season, this idea evolves and comes from the recruiter's mouth.
You're trash and just as worthless as everyone else. And you only made it out of the dumpster because you got lucky.
In his view, people are trash and their lives are worthless because so many of them choose this path themselves. But Gi-hoon keeps risking his life over and over to prove that even in an impossible situation, it's still possible to hold on to your humanity.
Do you still have faith in people?
The ending, however bitter and brutal, shows that he never strayed from this conviction. By the way, before Season 3 even came out, there was a theory that the main character might become the new host, repeating Il-nam's path. I made that prediction too, and I have to say, it partly came true. The host once went through the same thing. He lost faith in people and crossed over to the dark side. The entire third season pushes Gi-hoon toward the same choice. People literally whisper in his ear, "Do you still believe in people?" Another callback to the central question that's been hanging over the series since Season 1.
Trust anybody to be good?
Anyone who died was simply a player who lost the game. Trash, eliminated from the competition.
Gi-hoon hesitates, he wavers, and you can see there's a moment when he's almost ready to cross that line. But in the end, he finds the strength to refuse.
We're not horses. We are humans.
And that becomes the turning point of the whole story. Gi-hoon's transformation from a gambler stealing money from his mother to a man willing to sacrifice himself is one of the most powerful moments in the third season. Another clear strength of the season is the games themselves, which match the previous ones in tension and creativity. The jump rope game is just as intense as the glass bridge. The moment when a player crosses the bridge, turns around, and starts pushing others off, it's an incredible twist, both dramatically and thematically.
What are you doing? What do you think? I'm playing. Think about it.
The Knives and Keys game is shocking in its brutality. And the final game perfectly shows the horror of how far people will go, stooping to the lowest acts just to survive.
I nominate player 222.
Don't object.
Neither do I.
Okay then, 222 it is.
Another big plus is many of the side characters. For example, the story of the mother and son, where, in the end, the mother is forced to stop her own child to save someone else. Or the arc of player 120, who unexpectedly turns out to be the most honorable of them all.
Come on!
Still, for all these strengths, there are moments that, to put it mildly, left many viewers seriously frustrated. So let's talk about those too. The third season is full of plot holes. The first is the policeman's story. In seasons 2 and 3, he's searching for his brother and the island, and we're shown every detail of his investigation.
Detective Wong, it's just like I thought. I did some digging and...
Things are a little fishy with our captain.
And for what? The relationship between the two brothers goes nowhere. In the finale, he just screams at him,
Why? Why'd you do it?
and as a viewer, I'm left asking the same thing.
Why?
What was the point of this whole subplot if it changed absolutely nothing? Even the game itself ends without any interference from the police. Another thing that really frustrated a lot of people is how the characters behave in the final game. Just to recap, in the last challenge, there are 9 people left in the arena with a child. According to the rules, 3 are supposed to be eliminated, which means 6 should survive.
We can all agree on which 3 players should be eliminated. The rest of you will make it through and survive the final game.
So how did it end with no one left alive except the kid? There's only one explanation. The players have to make the dumbest, most illogical choices possible. And that's exactly what they do.
And what will you do if you kill me and the kid? You gotta pick another one to die next round.
For example, after pushing off player 125, they move to platform 2. Then they push off player 336.
Out of the way!
And, by the rules, everyone should move to the final platform since a player was eliminated, when the time on the timer runs out. But instead, they just keep pushing each other off.
We just need to decide who to eliminate next.
Listen, there's only one last round, okay?
At that point, despite all the tension, the ending turns into this weird improvisation, full of plot holes and broken logic. Then there are problems of a different kind. Take the story of Sniper number 011. Remember how she got into the game? Her main goal was to win enough money to find and reunite with her daughter, whom she had to abandon while escaping North Korea. For that, she cold-bloodedly kills countless people, other people's fathers and children.
88.
Clear 244.
just to get back to her own child. And here's the paradox. After murdering dozens, maybe hundreds of people, she suddenly decides to save one man because he also has a daughter.
Just go. Get as far away as you can before the sky clears up. Your daughter's in danger.
And that somehow turns her into a sympathetic character. She walks away from the game clean and unpunished, with the aura of a martyr who redeemed herself.
Your daughter's in danger.
My question is, in what universe is that a fair outcome? Why are the lives of the people she killed worth less than her own child's? Then there's the host, the original player 001, the man who is the symbol of all the evil Gi-hun has been fighting.
Player 456.
The man with thousands of deaths on his hands. And what do we see? He walks away from this story almost saint-like. We're shown how he respects Gi-hun's choice, how he leaves money for his daughter, how he passes money to his brother.
Before he died, he left these things for you, Ga-young.
But where's the justice in that? And let's not forget the VIPs.
Whoa! Their pact did not last long.
Promises and pacts never do.
Those self-proclaimed masters of life and death, betting on other people's lives. Which one of them paid for anything they did? None. Not a single one faced consequences. The games continue, and people keep dying for their entertainment. If you sum it up, Gi-hun's revolution failed. His daughter is left without a father because he never came back for her. The policeman's actions led nowhere. The games go on, and now we know they're held in other countries too. The ones behind all this horror walk away unpunished. The few who showed a shred of humanity are dead. That's the happy ending we got. But the more I thought about it, the more I kept coming back to one idea. What if that's exactly what the director wanted us to see? Let's rewind to where it all started. The first season of Squid Game was a sharp critique of the capitalist system. It was the peak of the creator's vision, full of raw social pain, especially reflecting South Korean society, and it carried a powerful message: people drowning in debt with no way out, while the rich bet on them like horses at the racetrack. But by the second season, it became clear Wong Dong-hyuk himself was stepping on his own idea. What began as a critique of greed ended up becoming a massive money-making franchise. We're talking literally hundreds of millions of dollars, by some estimates over $1 billion. The first season took a huge toll on Wong. He even said he lost 8 teeth from the stress of production, and he didn't make much money from it at first. He later admitted that money was the main reason he agreed to make season 2. It's obvious he still cared deeply about what would happen to his creation. But in the end, money still won, both in real life and on screen. Look at episode 4 of season 3.
Everyone, will you please take your seats?
9 players, 9 contenders. But there's also a 10th player no one noticed. Money itself. And it won again, inside the game and outside it too. The brother gets the money. Gi-hun's daughter gets the money. And the final touch, the closing shots with the new recruiter setting up games in the US. Squid Game is now becoming a new franchise. An adapted version will be made by David Fincher. The money machine is running. What started as a sharp critique of capitalism has become just another billion-dollar profit engine. Wong Dong-hyuk, just like his characters, couldn't change anything. The policeman found the island, but didn't stop the game. Gi-hun proved it's possible to stay human, but he disappeared. The games go on. The franchise outlived both the hero and the author's original message. So, for Wong Dong-hyuk and his creation, this ending is really the only honest, logical conclusion. You can believe in people who are still capable of noble acts, But changing the system isn't that simple. And here, the line from Season 2 hits harder than ever.
If the world doesn't change, the game doesn't end.
If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel. Just head over to the channel's homepage and watch any other video that catches your interest, even if you just let it play in the background. That would be the best way to help out.